they're in there probing and trying to understand the weaknesses, and they're drawing up a map. Now, the reason why they're doing that is to have a game plan, right? And I guarantee you, sitting on the desk somewhere not too far from, Xi's office is a playbook that says, if this thing escalates, here's what we're going to do. And if you think like it was bad in Texas, a couple of weeks ago when, the power was out, and it was bad, but think about that lasting for 8, 10, 12 weeks around the country, right? Power grid shut down. What happens? You can't transport shit, right? You can't get cash. Fuel doesn't get to the gas stations. Food doesn't get to the stores. There's, depending on the time of year, heat issues, obviously, water supplies. And that's where the next big battle is going to be fought, right? They're going to bring it to the homeland. And we will do the same thing, right? It's not like we're not doing it, because people always say when I say something like that, well, the U.S. does it too. I think, well, fuck yeah, the U.S. does it. We better hope we're prepared.
Does that frustrate you when people say that? Well, the U.S. does it too.
Yeah, it does in a sense, because, and this is where I think, now personal opinion comes into it. Look, I spent most of my adult life overseas, and I like to think that I've got a fairly pragmatic view on things. I do admit that obviously, look, I look at the U.S. and I like to think, and I have seen on occasions, we do a lot of things for the right reason. Sometimes we don't do it properly, right? We make mistakes. Of course we make mistakes. But we try to self-correct. I guarantee you, if we're talking about the major powers out there, if we're talking about China and us, if we're talking about the Chinese regime, I'm talking about, obviously, if we're talking about the Russians, the Iranians, the North Koreans, we better hope that we stay up there, right, and are able to exert influence and leverage and control at the top, right? Because if it's and again, maybe I'm wrong here, but the Chinese